Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography, and what is our topic today? Establishment of Mughal Empire. There is a most important chapter. The first point arrive here or advent of Babur. Babur is starting position of the 1526 to 30. The Babur assumed by the throne of Farhan as a small principality and the taxonoma in the 1494 at the age of the 12 after death of his father. The situation is that Central Asia was not established and the Babur had to face a lot of distance from to the nobility itself. There is a most important here life is the 12th year only. And though there he was able to the capture of Samarkand and but very soon he had his retreat of because of the distractions of some of his noble. He also lost a Fargana to be a Uzaveg. There is a most important there. Thus, the earlier year of Babur as a ruler in the Central Asia were tough during the whole period of had is a plan of moving to about to Hindustan. And finally, from 1517 onward, they are made of distortions to move to about to India. A few of development in India at that time, they also helped him to the act on plan of invading India. There is a most important here. There is a most important fact here. Tumerian. The Tumerians is a then says is a Babur is a trace is a language from the Timur. There's a great is a conqueror of the Central Asia and to be a Genghis Khan. Their destination to the is a conquered from a mother as a side he was a descendant of the Mongol and from a father as a side of the great commander Timur. Because of the lineage of the Timur is a Mughal also is referred to the Timurs. There is a most important point here. The unstable political situation in India after the Sikandar Lodi as a death. The convention his him on politicals is a discontentment and the disorder in the Lodi Empire. And the meanwhile there was a confessed between some Afghan chief with the is Ibrahim's Lodi is permanent is among them and the Daulat Khan Lodi. They are governor of their large part of Punjab. The Rajput king of the Mewars, Rana is a Sangha was there also is asserting their authorities against the Ibrahim Lodi and was tried to increase the area of the influence in the northern India. Both of them sent the word to the Babur to invite to the India. There is a most important he invited the Babur in India. The invention from to the Ranga Shang and the Daulat Khan Lodi is a mind to have encouraged to the Babur is an ambition. There is a two main person for the invite to the Babur here ambition. There is the Rana Sangha and the Daulat Khan Lodi. There is the most important point note down to the exam of the UPSC. Babur was successful in the capturing of Vira is a 1519 to 1520 is a Silakot is a 1520 and Lahore is a 1524 in a Punjab. Finally, Ibrahim Lodi and Babur as a force meet a Panipat in 1526. There is a most important here battle and the Babur as a soldier is where to less in number but his organization of his army was a superior. There is a most important point here. A soldier were less in number but organization of his army was a superior. The Ibrahim Lodi was defected in the battle of Panipat. Success at the battle of Panipat was a great achievement of Babur military tracks and there Babur had an active army only is a 12,000 soldier which the Ibrahim as an army had an estimate of strength of 1 lakh soldier. There is a 1 lakh soldier and the Babur only 12,000 soldier. When the first to him there is the battle of field Babur as a tracks to very unique. Unique and there is a most important here. The unique is effectively is applied to the Rumis, Ottoman and the method of the welfare. He is in circulate to the Ibrahims as army from a two flank. In the center is a cavalry is a mounted attack with arrows and gun fire. By expected to the Ottoman is a gunners, there is traces and there are barricades is provided required and defense against the march of enemy. The Afghan is the army is Ibrahim Lodi suffered to the heavier is the casualties and the Ibrahim Lodis die in the battlefield. The Babur was the able to take a control of Delhi and Agra and go to the reach of the shore of the Lodis. And this money was distributed among to the Babur is a commander and soldier. There is a most important policy here. The victory at Panipat are provided to Babur as a firm ground to the considerate is a conquest, but now he was faced with a few is problem. The most important problem here is the noble and this commander were eager to return to the Central Asia because they did not like the climate of India, and culturally also they felt very alienated. And their second point is the most important here. The Rajput were raised around to under to the leadership of Rana Sanga, the king of the Mewar, and they wanted to expel their Mughal force. There is the most important here. And the next year, the Mughals is a thought defeated of Panipat, where still of the formidable force in the eastern part of UP, Bihar, Bengal, and there is a regroupings to the reclaim. There is a lost power. There is a most important 3 point here. A victory of Panipat provided to the Babur is a frame is a ground to consider to consequent. To begin to the Babur is a convinced his the companions and their noble to stay back and help in their is a consolidating there is conquered and territories. After succeeding in this difficulty task, he sent his son Humayun to the face the eastern Afghan. There is a most important here, and Rana Sanga of Mewar is a succeed to muster support of a large number of Rajput chiefs. The permanent is among this where is the Johar, Sirohi and the Dunagarup and the Ambers, Merata, etc. The Medani is a roy of the Chaneris is a Hassan Khan of the Mewat, and Muhammad Lodi is a younger son of Sikandar Lodi, also joined to Rana with there is a force. Possibly is a Rana Sanga is expected the Babur to be returned to the Kabul, and the is a Babur is a decision to be a step back. Must we have given a big jolt to the Rana Sanga's ambition. The Babur was also fully aware of the fact that it would be impossible for him to be considered there is a position in India. Unless they are saturated to Rana as a power, the force of Babur and Rana Sanga met at the Kanava and the place near Fatehpur Sikri. And the Rana Sanga was defeated in 1527 and once up again to the superior of military tactics, and the Babur succeed. With their fate of Rana, there is a biggest challenge in the northern India was shattered. There is a most important here. This was a proof of their map. The most important map of Mughal times are a victory. There is show on the most important, not provide to the English map, but here show the Hindi map. The most important here. This map of shows here are there is a difference of Lodi state, and there is a most important of here a Mughal empire. Though there is a Mewar Rajput receive a great shock at the Khanavas is a Medani, and Rai in the Malwa was still a threatening to the challenge of the authorities to the Babur. In spite of the great is a war with there is a which their Rajput for their Changderis is a 1528. The Babur faced a little difficulty in overcoming in the Medin's Rai. And when there is defeat to the resistance of across to Rajputan, as was the completely shattered, but Babur has to that is a tackless to the Afghan. The Afghan had a surrounded of Delhi, but they were still powerful in the east, Bihar and part of JAUNPUR. There is success against the Afghan and the Rajput at the Panipat and Kanava was very significant, but the resistance was still present. However, this is the victories were a step forward in the directions of the establishment of Mughal Empire. The Babur is a die in 1530. Still the ruler of Gujarat, Malwa and the Bengal enjoyed to the substantial military power, and Savarnota is a suppressed. It is was left Humayun to face this regional power. There is a most important power die is a 1530. There is a still of the ruler of Gujarat, Malwa and Bengal enjoy. There is a most important because Humayun is very low power original. Important point here, Humayun as a retreat and the Afghan revival of 1530 to 1540. There is a most important period time of Humayun. The Humayun here is the most important here after the death of the Babur. After the death of the Babur in 1530, his son Humayun succeed him. The Humayun is the son of Babur. The situation under the Humayun was quite desperate and the mainly problem faced by the Humayun were. The first problem he faced here, there is a newly concreted territory and administration was not considered. There is a most important because the Babur is suddenly he is the bin for this administration territory. There is Humayun is not about control here. And the unlike Babur is Humayun did not be command the respect and esteem of the Mughal is nobility. And third here, the Changtai is a noble where is not be favorable inclined to about him and the Indians noble and who had joined to the Babur as a service. Restricted the Mughals at the Humayun's as a accession. And also is a confronted the is a hostility of the Afghan, mainly of Sher Shah in a Bihar on hand and the Bahadur Shah, the ruler of Gujarat on the other. There is a most important point here. And the last here is the fifth point. As per the Chimur, traditionally Humayun had to be share power with his brother. The newly established Mughal Empire had two centers of power. Humayun in their control of Delhi, Agra and central India, while his brother Kamran had Afghanistan and Punjab under him. There is a most important decision here of Humayun. Humayun felt that is Afghan where is a bigger threat. He want to avoid a combined opposition of Afghan from the east and west. At that time, the Bahadur Shah had occupied the Vishra, Adrescence, Ujjain and Girgaon and was considering as a power. While the Humayun was using Suchanor in the east, Bahadur Shah has started to expanding towards Malwa and the Rajputanas. In such a situation, Humayun was forced to rush back to the Agra. The rush back to the Agra here, 1532 to 33. Continuing there is the expansion to policy, Bahadur Shah attacked the Chittor in 1534. Chittor had strategic advantage as it could be provide a strong base. It would have to help his expansion in Rajasthan, particularly toward to the Ajmer, Nagaur and Ratnabhor. Humayun as a capture is a Mandul and Kampen. There is because they thought that from here he can back up Bahadur Shah return to the Gujarat. The Humayun has a longer absence from the Agra, resulting in the rebellions in the Dhobs and Agra, and he had to the rush back. Mandu was not left under the charge of Mirza Askewe. There is a brother of Humayun. And during this period when Humayun was busy in Gujarat to check off the Bahadur Shah, Sher Shah started concentrating himself in the Bihar and Bengal. Here the most important rise of Sher Shah Suri, for who later come be called Sher Khan and consequently is a Sher Shah, was son of a Jagirdar under the kingdoms of Jaunpur. His father Hasan Khan Sur held to the Jagir of their Shararams in Bihar. During the ruler of the Lodi, Sher Shah is helped in father in administration of his Jagir. Later he devolved to the difference with the father and left him. He served under Afghan noble. After the death of his father in 1524, he was given his father as a Jagir by Ibrahim Lodi. He had to enter into the confess with his family to take a position of their Jagir. He very effectively is managed the Jagir of his father. He also acquired to the great military and administrative skill. His capability is made him to be leader of Afghans. He gradually increasing his influence and defected to the Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bengal. He emerged as the most powerful military commander in the 10 provinces. Sher Shah is consolidating his the position in Bihar. He had to be entered into a number of conflicts with the prominent Afghan noble in Bihar and rule of the Bengal. He finally succeeded in establishing himself as the most powerful Afghan chief in eastern India. So here is the most important here map empire of Sher Shah Suri. There is a dot shapes here of the line shape is the most important empire of Sher Shah Suri is the AD 1540 to 45 AD. There 5 years is the most important. Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Multan, Lahore, Delhi, Ambala, Jodhpur, Chittor, Mandur, Agra, Kanpur, Kannauj, Banaras and etc. There is the most important here a part of empire of Sher Shah Suri. The maximum area is the bond for here the Sher Shah Suri in showing this map. There is a most important. Sher Shah could extract quite a wealth from Bengal, which is help him to be rise a bigger army. Now he has started to attacking Mughal territories of Banaras and belonging to the Humayun. There is a most important here Banaras and the other side. Humayun was quite suspicious of Sher Shah as a ambition, but failed to estimate of capability. He asked his governor of Jaunpur is a Hindus back to check the movement of Sher Shah. Mean, will the Sher Shah is a capture of Gyur is a 5038, the capital of Bengal. Well, the Humayus was moving to about the Bengal. Sher Shah Shuris took control of the route and Agra, making a communication difficult for Humayun. There is a most important point here. There is a Humayun was moving to about to Bengal, and Sher Shah took control of the route to Agra as a making to communication is difficult for the Humayun. On the other hand, the Hindal Mirza is a brother of Humayun who was supposed to provide supply for his army. Declared he is the independent. Now the Humayun decided to return to the Chenor. And when he reached to the Chenusa is 1539. He is in compare on the western side of the river Karamsa. Sher Shah attacked the Humayun at the bank of river and defeated him. Sher Shah has declared himself as the independent king. Humayun could escape, but most of his army was a destroyer. With the difficulty he could be reached the Agra, his brother Kararam is moved out of the Agra to about to Lahore, leaving Humayun with a small force. The Sher Shah is now moved toward to Agra. Humayun also is come forward with his army and his armies of two clash in Kannauj. Humayun was defeated badly in the battle of Kannauj is 1540. The most important point here, a second Afghan empire is a time period is 1540 to the 1555. There is a most important period time is 14 years. There is a first year of Sher Shah. The Sher Shah, as I already discussed, the first Afghan kingdoms under to the Lodhis was replaced by the Mughal under to the Babur in 1526. After a gap of 14 years, Sher Shah succeeded in establishing the Afghan rulers again India in 1540. Sher Shah and his successors is ruled by the 15 years. The period is known as the period of the Second Afghan Empire. The founder of this Afghan ruler, Sher Shah Khan, was a great tactician and the able military commander. There is a most important here, a military commander. He have already discussed is the confessed with the Humayun. After the defecting, the Humayun become a servant as a ruler in the year 1540 and assume there is the title of Sher Shah. The Sher Shah is the most important title taken here. Sher Shah is a follow the Humayun on his flight till of the Sindh in the northern west. After the spellings, there is a Humayun here started to the is a considering his position in the northern and the eastern India. He is defeated and is conquered to the Malwa in 1542, which was followed by the Chanderis. In Rajasthan, he led to the campaigns is against the Marwaras, is the Rathon wars, is the Nagars and Ajmer, Martha and Jodhpur, and the Bikaner. He is defected to the rebellious is Afghan is a Bengal by of 1545. He had established himself as the supreme rules from the Sindh and Punjab to the wall of the Rajputana in the west and Bengal in the east. Now is returned to about to the Bundelkhand, where will be a besiegings and therefore to the Kalnanjor. He died in a 1545 in a accidentally blast of the gunpowder. During his very rule, Sher Shah introduced a very important change in administrations and revenue system. The most important ones were here the first exjudicial system. Exjudicial system is the most important here. Sher Shah was succeeded by his son Islam Shah. Islam Shah had to face a number of conflicts with the brother Adil Khan and many Afghan nobles. He died in the 1553. Their Afghan empire was substantially is a beacon, and the Humayun saw on the opportunity and a move toward to the India. He again captured his lost kingdom by 1555 and ended the second Afghan empire. In 1555, there is a Humayun as conquered to Agra and Delhi and established to himself as the Empress of India. Before he could be consolidated his the position, he died after the falling from the stair of the lever at the Sher Modus in a Delhi in a 1556. The most important topic arrive here, the Mughal Empire from Akbar to Aurangzeb. The Akbar is a starting, the Aurangzeb is a last. But first point here is arrive Akbar. The Akbar was only 13 years old at the time of Humayun's death. There is a most important and there is a most for the Akbar. There is only for 13 years old. The father is a death. When his father died, Akbar ate the Kalnor in a Punjab and therefore his coronation took place in the Kalnor. Itself is a 1556. It was his tutor and Humayun as a favorite and confident is a Behram Khan, who served as the regent of the Mughal Empire from 1556 to the 1560. There is a most important period time for the Behram Khan. He became there is a Wakil of the kingdom with the title of Khan-e-Khana. There is a Khan-e-Khana. There is most important title here. Take. One of the major achievements of his regency's period was the defeat of the Himu and the Afghan force in the second battle of Panipat in 1556, who were posing a serious threat to the Mughal Empire. There is a most important here and important also here. Regency of the Behram Khan is a 1556 to 1560. There is a most important period time for the Behram Khan. Behram Khan is remained at the helm of the affair of the Mughal Empire for almost 4 years, which is popularly known as the period of Behram Khan as regency. During this is a phase the appointed his favorite noble on important position. Behram Khan is emerged as the most powerful noble. He became very arrogant. A group of nobles were opposed to him, and there is a madness to the influence is Akbar also. By this time, Akbar also wanted to assume to fully control. He removed Behram Khan. Behram Khan is revolted and was defeated. Akbar is pronounced him as asking him to retire. He decided to go to the Makkah for the image. He was killed by Afghan near Ahmedabad. His son later on has become on the influential novel under to Akbar and famous as the Abdul Rahim Khan. There is the most important here. The Akbar started a policy of expansion after the overcoming initially problem and consolidating his hold on the throne. is a major political power spread in different parts of the country where the most important first point here, the Rajput who were spread throughout the country as an independent chief and kings, and where is a concentrated is mainly in a Rajasthan. The Afghan held a political control mainly in a Gujarat, Bihar and Bengal. There is a most important here. The Khandesh, Ahmednagar and Bijapur is a Golconda and few other kingdoms is a South India and Deccan were quite powerful. The fourth point here, Kabul and Kandahar is through the ruled by the Mughal factions and were hostile toward as Akbar. The Akbar through a systematic policy started the task of expanding his empire. The first step that Akbar took after the dismissal of the Behram Khan was to put on end the confessed within the nobility. The demonstrated is the great diplomatic skill and organizational capability in the handling in aids. The Akbar started his policy of expansion with the central India in the 1559 or 60. The first expedition was sent to the capture of Gwalior before moving to the Malwa. The Malwa is a central India was ruled by the Waz Bahadur. The Waz Bahadur is the most important here, and the Akbar deputed to the Adhams Khan to the lead to the expeditions against it. Waz Bahadur was defeated and fell to the Brahmanpur and the Gondwana in the independent state in the central India ruled by the Rani Durgavati, the widows of the Dalpat Shah, and was conscripted as next to the Mughal Empire in 1564. The next year, the most important, the Rajasthan, the empire of Akbar time. There seems that Akbar was fully aware of the importance of Rajput kingdoms and wanted them as allies in his ambition of establishing a large empire. He tried to win over the Rajput wherever possible and introduced them into the Mughal service. He also entered into the matrimonial alliance with the Rajput rulers like Brahmal. The Rajput Brahmans of the Amber was the first to enter into the alliance with the Akbar. The Rajput kingdom like Meerut and the Jodhpur were also occupied without much resistance. However, Maharana Pratap, the ruler of the Mewar, is a most serious challenge to the Mughal Empire and did not be submit before Akbar. After a prolonged struggle and the siege of the fort of the Chittor, Akbar succeeded in the defeating the Mewar forces. A large number of Rajput soldiers got killed in a war. However, it could not be fully subdued and some resistance from the Mewar side continued for a long time. After the fall of Chittor, Ranthambore and the Kalanjar were captured. The Marawars is a Bikaner and Jaisalmer also is submitted to the Akbar. By 5670, Akbar has captured almost the wall of Rajasthan. The most important achievement of Akbar was that spread there is the subjugations of the wall of Rajasthan where is no hostility between to the Rajput and the Mughal. We will be discuss reason for it is a separate section in this lesson. The next year, Afghans. The Afghan here, Gujarat, Bihar and Bengal. The Akbar as a compass is against the Afghan started with the Gujarat in 1572. One of the princes is Itamad Khan has invited the Akbar to come and is a conquer it. Akbar himself is a march to be Ahmedabad. The town was captured without any serious resistance. Surat with a strong is a fortress is offered some resistance but was also a capture. In a short time, most of the principalities of Gujarat were both under his control. Akbar organized the Gujarat into his province was the place under Mirza Aziz Koka and returned to the capital. Within a 6 month of various rebellious is groups come together and revolted against the Mughal rules, and the Mughal governor had to be acceded to the number of territories. The leader of the rebellions were to the Itiyar is Ul Mulak was the Muhammad Hussain Mirza, and Akbar got to the news of rebellions in the Agra, and he set out of the Ahmedabad. Akbar marched the rapidly is a space is a managed to be reached the Ahmedabad in 10 days. The empress quickly is a surprise to the rebellions, and there is a most important Bengal and Bihar, which were is under control of the Afghans, were paid attention after the Gujarat expedition. In 1574, Akbar, along with the Munim Khan, Khan, they marched to about to the Bihar. In a short time, is the Hazipur and Patna were captured, and Gaur, Bengal, was also is taken away, and within his the independent ruler of Bengal was ended in a 1576. By the 1592 the Mughal is a Mansubdar, the Raja is a Man Singh, and also both there is a bowl of the Orissa under the Mughal rule. There is the most important period time here. A series of conflicts arise in some region of Mughal Empire in 1581. The Bengal, Bihar, Gujarat, and northern West were mainly centered of is an unrest. The Afghan were at the root of these problems, as sign there were is overthrow is everywhere by the Mughal. Apart from this, Akbar as a policy of strict administration of Jagirs was also responsible for this. A new policy was adopted according to which the Jagirdar were asked to submit the account of the Jagirs. This created justifications, and Jagirdar is arose in their revolt. The Masum Khan, a Kabuli, is a Roshan Beg, Mirza Sarifuddin, and the Arab Bahadurs were is the main leader of the rebels. And imperial officer posted their tides to the crush the rebellion. But here failed. Akbar immediately sent a large force under to the Raja Toharmal and Sakha Farid Baksh. A title letter is Azil Koka and the Sahebdaz Khan were also sent to the help Tohadars is a Mal, and his birth declared to Akbar as a brothers is a Hakim's Mirza, who was the Kabul as there is the king. But soon the Mughal empires were able to successfully crush the rebellions in the Bihar, Bengal, and join to the resistance. There is the most important time here. The next area is the Punjab and northern West. In the Punjab, Mirza Qasim was a create a problem for Akbar, and the attack to Lahore is a Hakim's Mirza was expected a number of Mughal officers to join him, but no large group of join him. Akbar decided to the march to about to the Lahore himself. The Hakim Mirza immediately retreated, and is the Akbar is controlled the whole region. He gave a first priority to the organize the protection of northern base frontier, and after his march to about to the Kabul and conquered their territory, Akbar gave to the charge of the Kabul to his sister Baksu Suina Begum. The later on there is Rajmal Singh was appointed to governor of Kabul, and it was given to him a Jagir. Another important development in the northern western region was the rebellion of Rosanais, who is captured the road between to the Kabul and Hindustan. Rosanais was the Sikh established by a soldier who was called Pir Rosane in the region. His son Jalal was holding there is a Sahib who had to the large flowing. There is Akbar is appointed to the Jain Khan is the commander of the strong force to the separatists of the Rosanais and established the Mughal control in the region. Shahid Khan and Gokhars and Raja Biraval where is also sent with the separate force for the help of Jain Khan. In one of the operations is Birwals was killed with the most of his the force. Akbar was greatly disturbed with there is a death of his trusted friend Birbal. His capture Rajya Todar Mal is the Rajya Mal Singh to the suppressed to the rebellions, and they were successfully in the defecting to the Rosanai. The Akbar for a long time had his eyes set on the conquering the Kashmir. It was an exit to the Mughal Empire in 1586. Some is a pocket in the Sindh in the northern west were still independent. In 1590, Akbar appointed the Khane Khan as the governor of Multan and asking him to the subdue to the Baikochis as the tribes in the region and conquer to world is the territories. First, Thata was the Asin, there was a place in the Shakar and the Suba of Multan. The conflict with the bellicoses is their adjoinings originals continued. Finally, by the year 1595, the complete supremacy of Mughals over to northwest region was established. There is the most important here. The next place here, the Deccan. The Deccan after 1590, Akbar is give a shape to a Deccan policy to the bearings, and this start under Mughals control. During this period, the Deccan state were facing internal tensions and the regular conflict. In 1591, Akbar sent an officer to the Deccan state to asking them to accept. The Mughal Sugantlis, but there was not a much success. Now Akbar decided on a policy of aggressions. The first expedition was a capture to the Ahmednagar under the command of Prince Murad and Abdul Rasim Khan is a Khana. In 1595, the Mughal force invaded to Ahmednagar. Its ruler Chand Bibi decided to face the Mughals. The approach the Ibrahim Adil Shah of the Bijapur and Kutab Shah of the Golconda for help but with no success. Offers to confess to flower after heavier loss of both sides. A territory was the war kids out and Chanda Bibi ceded a bearer to the Mughals. After some time, Chanda Bibi attacked to bear to take its back. At this point is a Nizam Shahi, Qutb Shahi and Abdul Shahi troop to the decided to present a joint front. The Mughals suffering to heavy loss but could return their position. Meanwhile, there is a serious difference between to the Murad and Khana Khan beacon. And there is a Mughal is a position. Akbar is therefore is recalled Khana Khan and the rupture of the Abdul Fazl al-Deccan. After the Prince Murad as death in 1598, Prince Nios as a Khana were sent to the Deccan. The Ahmednagar was captured and soon the Mughal also is conquered the Asingghar and the adjoining regions. Adil Shah of the Bijapur also expressed it to the legends and offered his daughter is married to Prince Denal. The meanwhile, the Chanda Bibi also died, and now Mughal is a territory is a Deccan included to the Asingghar and the Brahmanpur and the Ahmednagar and the Berar. Along with the expansion of territory, Akbar is invited the policy of the absorbing the chief trains into the Mughal nobility. His policy is paid rich of dividend to the empire. The Mughal empire succeed in the getting the support of chieftain, and there is armies for a new conquest. As a part of Mughal nobility, there is help was also available for administering a large empire. In addition, a friendly relationship with them ensured peace for the empire. The chieftain also is benefited from this policy. Now they could be turned there is the territories and administer them as they wished. In addition, they receive a Jagir and the Mansab. You will learn about this is the administrative meaning of lesson 12 of is a models 2. And there is the got territory the Jagir bigger than their kingdom. It is also provided them to security for the enemy and rebellions. And the many Rajput is a man Subadar, where is assigned their open territory as the Batan Jagir, which was the hereditary and non-transferable. The territory expansion under to Akbar gave a defined shape to the Mughal Empire. In the term of territory expansion, very little was added to the empire after Akbar, and some territory were added to during the reign of the Shah Jahan and the Aurangzeb in the Deccans and northern east of India. Here show the Mughal Empire of the map in the death of the Akbar. There is the most important here all over India the cover for the Mughal Empire on the Akbar time. There is the most important empire for the Mughal time and show in this map. But some area is not covered for the Mughal Empire at the death of the Akbar time. There is the most important part, it Godwana, Golconda and the Baizapurs and the Palagaras. There is the most important area here. There is a not cover for the Mughal Empire at the death of the Akbar time. There is the most important period time. The next is the most important here are Jahangir and Shah Jahan. After the Akbar, there is a take for the in charge of Jahangir. Jahangir decided to follow to the Akbar as a explanations policy in the Deccan, but if the Jahangir could be achieve a little success in it's due to the contain problem. He could not be devoted to the much attention in the crucially phase due to the Khurram's revolt. The Mongol is a noble where he is also involved in a number of interests as the confessed to the gain some advantage from a Deccan. During the first 3 years, the Deccan is a regained to half of the Balghat and many district of the Nagar. The Malik Ambar was the main ruler who is managed to the defeat of the Mughal force and capture to the Bhaira is a Balghat and part of the Ahmednagar. The Mughal could be not be gain is control of the lost of territories and meanwhile the Shah Jahan is revolted against his the father and become a friend with the Malik Ambar. There is the most important here and the Malik Ambar is a made an attempt to the capture of Ahmednagar but failed there. He took away to the Solapur from Adil Shah and his alliance with the Shah Jahan and tried to the capture of the Nurpur but is failed. One space was the established between is Jahangir and Shah Jahan is a Malik Ambar was also is a Pacific. The Malik Ambar is died in the 1627 and was the succeeded by his son is a Fateh Khan was vehicle and the Peshawar of the kingdom. And of Fateh Khan was arrogant and during this time the confessed between to the Deccans and others noble grey. During the reign of the Jahangir, there was no addition to the Mughal territory in Deccan. In fact, the Deccanics is the rulers became the Mughals authorities in their states. However, ambition of the Malik Ambar was is obstacle in there is a was of the joint from of the Deccan state. During the period of between to the death of the Jahangir and the ascensions of the Shah Jahan, there are Mughal government of the Deccan. There is a Khan Jahan is a Lodi with the intentions of the scoring help in the time of the necessity and give away to the Balghat to be Nizam Shah. After the ascending, there is a throw is the Shah Jahan ordered to the Khan Jahan is a Lodi to recover its butt as the latter failed. Shah Jahan is recalled him to the court and Khan Jahan is returned to the hostile and the rebelled. He took their shelter with the Nizam Shah and this infuriated is the Shah Jahan and decided to follow to aggressive policy and toward the Deccan state. Shah Jahan as a main is a concern was to be recovered to the lost territories of Deccan. He believed that independent of Ahmednagar was a been to the way of Mughal control in the Deccan. He decided to the isolated Ahmednagar and been over to the Bijapur and Marathas. He was successfully is a Fateh Khan, the son of the Malik Ambar, also is a made a peace with the Mughals. Now, Mahabad Khan was appointed to governor of the Deccan, but the confessed with the Deccan state continued. Finally, in 1636 is a treaties where to sign and Vijayapur and the Golconda. The main point of agreement with the Vijayapur were others accept the Mughals as a suzerainty, and he was to pay up 20 lakh rupees in indemnity, and he was not to interfere in the affair of the Golconda. The Mughal Empire was to the arbitrate in the case of any debt job between to the Vijayapur and the Golconda. Adil Shah to help the Mughal in a confessed against the Sahaji Bhosle. Golconda also made a separate treaty, and according to this treaty, is the first year Golconda took a author of the loyalties is the two awards, our Mughal Empire. He agreed to include the name of the Mughal Empire in a Zakutaba, and the excuse there is the name of the Shah of Iran. And Golconda agreed to pay to the 2 lakh huns per year to be Mughals. And treaties is ended their confessed in the Deccans. The Mughals could expand their area of dominance to the large part of the southern India. A district or change in the Mughal policy come to about to the 1656 to the 57. When the treaties were to the ignored, now Shah Jahan asked to the Aurangzeb to the conquer and annexes the other territories of Deccan Kingdom. It is argued by there are some historians that his change of policy was to the exploit to the resource of the Deccan state for the Mughals. However, this change did not benefit the Mughal Empire in any substantial way and they create the more problem for the future. Aurangzeb is the most important empire. Aurangzeb is believed in their aggressive policy to about the Deccan. There is the most important here, their policy to about the Deccan for the aggressive. And Professor Satish Chandra identified 3 districts faced in the policy to about Deccan state. The first year, from 1658 to 1668, the focus was to get hold of the territory of Kalyani, the Vidhars and the Parenda for the Vijayapur. And during this phase, attempts were made to secure the help of Deccan state against the Marathas. The efforts were also made by the Jai Singh, the governor of Deccan, to conquer to the Vijayapur, but their effort failed. The second point here, from around 1668 to 1684, there was a shift in a policy. The death of the Adil Shah of the Vijayapur growing to the power of Shivaji and increased the influence of the Akhana and the Madana. And two brother is the Golconda, the administration effect of the Mughal policy. Golconda tried to be formed in the alliance in the Shivaji and Vijayapur. Aurangzeb as effort to the contain a Marathas every not very successful. The alliance with the minor shift and frequent tension continued to the some from or the other. Aurangzeb was not inclining to the annex their Deccan state. There is a most important and third policy here. In the third phase is a 1684 to 87. The Aurangzeb followed their policy of the outright is annexation of the Deccan state. The Aurangzeb is personally supervised their son to the Vijayapur by 1687. Both Vijayapur and Golconda is along with their territory of Karnataka, were annexed in their Mughal Empire. The conflict with the Marathas is a continued for to the 1687 to 1707. The Aurangzeb spent most of this time in the Deccan and could manage to keep their regions under to Mughal control. But after the death in 1707, the Aurangzebad is the Deccan. They strayed to independent and succeed in the short period. The apart from a Deccan Aurangzeb could expand Mughal power is the Assam in the northern east region. The major success of the Mughal in this region was the annexation of the Oma kingdoms Assam under the Mir Jumala and the governor of Bengal. Another notable achievement in the northern east was capture of the Chattogram in the 1664 under the Shaista Khan, the new governor of Bengal. The Ahmad king of could not be directly controlled for the long. There a Mughal is a Fazudar, is a posture, there is a had to be a face, resistance, and there are to regular is a confessed. By 1680s, Omar is a succeed in the capturing is a Kamrup and the Mughal control ended. Challenge to the Mughal rules is a conflict and the negotiation. That is the most important here according to the Mughal Empire. Under Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire reached its greatest territorial limits and it is cover almost the whole of present day of India. But his resign was married by the popular revolt of their Jats, Satamins, and the Afghans, Sikh, and the Marathas. The Rajput emerged as an important support base of Mughal under the Akbar. And later on the under Jahangir and the Shahjahan, however under Aurangzeb, there is started to the feeling is alienated and they gradually lost their position of administrative setup. The Marathas posed a major challenge to be a sovereignty of their Mughal under Aurangzeb. The Deccan start put up a stark resistance against the Mughal expansion plan. The northwest is a frontier and the reasons was also trouble as a support and the Mughal had to be suppressed to the disturbance and there is a notice that is a post of the establishment and expansion of the Mughal empire to the Mughal face resistance and had to be negotiated. There is a wall through the divorces is a mean to the struggle and there is a will be provided to the very discussion on all this issue. The first year Rajput. The Rajput here, the Mewars was the only is the reason is the Rajputana had that had not is a comes is under the Mughals drive to the Akbar at the time. Jahangir followed a persistence policy to capture it. After a series of conflicts, Rana Amar Singh finally agreed to accept of Mughal sovereignty. All the territories taken from the Mewar, including to the fort of the Chittor, whereas returning to the Rana Amar Singh and there subsequently a Jagir was the granted to his son as a Karan Singh. During the reign of the Jahangir and the Shahjahan, the Rajput generally are continued to the friendly with the Mughals and held very high the mansabs. Shahjahan is relied upon the Rajput soldier from to the companions and the Deccan their northern west. During the reign of the Aurangzeb, the Mughal relation with the Rajput suffered to the particularly over to the issue of the succession to their throne into the Marwar. Aurangzeb has an interference in the succession at a depth and his the support to the reverse candidate is antagonized to the Rajput. His occupation of the Jodhpur further put a dent on the Mughal-Rajput relation and the Rajput gradually got alienated from to Mughal rule. In fact, absence of the powerful Rajput section in the nobility ultimately is provide to the determinantal of the Mughal control of the peripheral area, especially when it comes to the negotiation meetings with the Marathas. The next year, Deccan. During the last year of Akbar and the earlier year of Jahangir, the Ahmednagar under to the Malik Ambar is started to the challenging to Mughal power. The Malik Ambar is a succeed in the getting a support to the Bajapur also. A number of expeditions were sent by the Jahangir but failed to be achieved any success. During the Shahjahan is resigned, the Mughal confessed with the Deccan kingdom and Ahmednagar. Bijapur and Golconda was received. The Ahmednagar was forced to be defeated and the most of his territory were annexed into the Mughal Empire. By 1636, Bijapur and Golconda were also defeated, but these kingdoms were not annexed to the Mughal Empire. After later defeated rulers were pay of annual tribute and recognized a Mughal authority. For almost 10 years, Shahjahan is captured his son Aurangzeb in the region. During the Aurangzeb is resigned to the struggle with the Deccan start to the Marathas become more intensive. And in fact, Aurangzeb spent the last 20 years of his reign in the Deccan fighting against them. By 687, the Deccan's kingdom of Bijapur and Golconda were annexed to the Mughal Empire. However, the time and money spent in the Deccan by the Aurangzeb proved a great drain to the Mughal Empire. And the next year, Maratha's challenge. There is the most important here, Maratha challenge. The Maratha emerged in the Deccan is a vital force under Shivaji in the middle of the 17th century and began to challenge the Mughal authorities. Shivaji started his offensive operation in the 1656 and captured the is a principality of Zavil, and after some time Shivaji is raided the Bijapur territory, and in the 1659 the Sultan of Bijapur sent to the general Afzal and raided to the Bijapur territory, and in the 1659 the Sultan of Bijapur sent his general Afzal Khan to the capture of Shivaji, but Shivaji was too clever for him. Afzal Khan and killed him. Ultimately, in the 1662, the Sultan of Bijapur entered into the space of settlement with the Shivaji and acknowledged him as the independent ruler of the conquered territories. Shivaji now began to devastate the Mughal territories. Aurangzeb and sent the Satyendra Khan is a viceroy of the Deccan with a big army against the Shivaji and the territory of Prandhar in 1665. War signed between the two. Out of the 35 forts held by Shivaji, he agreed to the surrender 23 forts to be Mughals. The remaining 12 forts with the annual income on 1 lakh of huns were to be left the Shivaji. Shivaji was asked to pay a visit to the Mughal court at the Agra. But when Shivaji went there, he was ill-treated and taken to the prisoner, and he managed to escape, reaching the Raigad in the 1666. From the onward, we visit our realize is a struggle against the Mughals. Soon he is conquered all the fort which he had surrounded to be a Mughals. In 1670, the planned raid of Surat for the second time. In 1674, Shivaji made a Raigad his capital and celebrated his coronation and assumed their title of Chhatrapati. Shortly after this, he made a great expedition into the southern India and conquered Vijayanagar, Velar and the many forts of Karnataka. He died at the Raigad in the 1680 after the ruling for the only 6 years. In this short time, they founded the Maratha kingdoms and which dominated western India for a century and a half. Shivaji's successor was his son Sambhaji. The many Maratha chiefs did not be support of Sambhaji and extended help to the Rajarama and the other son of Shivaji. Shivaji has a two sons, is a Sambhaji and the Rajaram, the son of Shivaji. There is support for the people, there is the Rajaram, but not support for the Sambhaji. The internal conflict began to Maratha power. Finally, Sambhaji was captured and put to death in 1689 by the Aurangzeb, and the Sambhaji was succeeded by the Rajarama, is the son of Shahu, was still young. The Rajaram is died in the 17th century, and he was succeeded by his minor son Shivaji III under to the regency of Tara by his mother. The Tara by his mother, the fell Aurangzeb against the Maratha was largely due to Tara by as energy and administrative genius. The Mughal, however, succeed in the dividing. There is a Maratha into two rulers, comes one under Tarabai and other is surrounded Sambhaji as a son Shahu. The Shahu for a long was is a Mughal court was released and he succeeded in the deposing Tarabai with the help of the Chitavavan Brahman is named to the Balaji Vishwanath. The next year, a challenge of the northern west. Akbar had a way to consider the Kabul Gyanis Kuthar is aligned to the static frontier, and there is the capture of the Kuthar in 1595. The Quenadhar in the 1595. During the 17th century, the northern base is the Fontana was the mainly area of activity of the Mughals. Here the Rosanais were to the decisively is defeated by 1625 to 26. But Konadhar became a region of conflict between the Persians and Mughals. After the Akbar's death, the Persians tried to the capture of the Quedhar but fell under Shah Abbas. 1. The Safavis ruler following this, Shah Abbas is one in a 1620 requested to the Jahangir to hand over to the Qadhar to him, but their letter is a decline to do so. In a 1622, after the another attack, the Qandhar was the captured by the Persians. The under Shah Jahan is a Kandahar only against come into the Mughal hand, but was captured by the Persian in the 1649. The struggle capture of Kandahar is a continually till the Aurangzeb and resigned to the Mughal got a title success. Sahaja is a Valkha is a compound to keep a Uzbek is a tribe to under control fell is miserably and the Mughals lost a hug amount of the money and man in the confessed. During the resign of Aurangzeb, the Kandahar is the issue was the dropped and diplomatic relation with the Persians were revised. It is a quite and evident that the territory expansion of the Mughal Empire achieved under Akbar continued to be a core of the empire. Its further expansion during to Aurangzeb's reign was the Deccan and in a small measure in the northern east region. And during this is a period the Mughal Empire had to the largest area. However, the beginning of the decline of the Mughal Empire also could be traced to the ruler of Aurangzeb. The breaking up of their association with the potent regional force like a Rajput and falling relationship with the declining state of the Marathas shocked the unity of stability of the Mughals empire. Under this successor, the empire keep disintegrating.